Check out this guy in action from the last Korn album. This is Can You Hear Me?
It sinks its teeth in one at a time. It loves to feed, it loves my past. It's always taunting, but somehow out of grasp. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again.
All right, my next guest is an incredible drummist. That's my new word.
Drummist.
He plays an incredibly large drum kit in the band Korn. And once in a while, he strips it down and plays in the very underrated rock trio KXM. How's it going, Ray?
I'm great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. We just had Corey Taylor for a little while, and
Corey's my boy.
yeah, what a show! Have you guys have toured together, huh?
Yeah, many times. I did Jay Weinberg's first big Slipknot tour, as the new drummer, and yeah, Corey sang on our guest sang on our record Serenity of Suffering, a song called Different World, and man, he's just one of the best.
Yeah, one of the great dudes in the rock world. And so what's the kit behind you now? What do we look? I love the backdrop.
I just brought you into Lose Your Ear Studios. This is it, man. Look at this. It's just drum hell everywhere. That's my main recording kit right here. This red one over here is another recording kit. And this is like where I just do a lot of tracking, here in Franklin, Tennessee. I moved away from LA 6 years ago and set up shop down here, and I'm doing tons of recordings out of my own house, which is awesome.
Yeah, are the all the Nashville people going like, oh, how did we become LA East all of a sudden? But it's so cool down there, man.
There's a ton of rockers, man. It's like I got Mick Mars. He lives right up the road from me, literally the next exit up from me.
Mustaine.
Mustaine's here now. Pete Parada from Offspring. There's a Paul Taylor from Steve Perry and a bunch of people.
Yep.
There's rockers everywhere now. We're taking over, man.
Yeah, and I see some of the country influence bleed into some of the rockers, which is good, and then vice versa. Some of the heavier stuff is working its way into the country scene, so it's a nice hybrid.
It's definitely. It's funny because all my quote country friends are like, it's rock. I go to see my buddies in Jason Aldean and Florida Georgia Line, and it's like pyro. It's like a freaking fish. It's like, wait, this ain't the country I thought it was going to be. So we influence each other. Hey, a good song is a good song at the end of the day. I don't care if it's thrash metal or if it's freaking polka. You know what I mean? Well, maybe not polka.
Okay, yeah, that one we could leave out. It's still politically correct to make fun of polka, but maybe next week it's not anymore. I don't know, but right. I don't make up the rules, Ray. I just I just try to break them. But speaking of big rock shows, I mean, there's really, man, if there's anybody who knows about a big rock show, it's you, man. I mean, I've probably seen Korn, I don't know, 750 times at this point, and if people haven't seen Korn, and whether you're a casual fan, the hits, or maybe you're not even that familiar with Korn, or even if you're hardcore. Dude, the live, I tell people, if you go see Korn live, you will be in love instantly. I mean, the show is so big and has evolved over the years, as has your drum kit.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, it's funny. Next month starts my 14th year in the band, which is insane. If you'd have told me 15 years ago I would have been in Korn for 14 years, I would have laughed in your face,
Yeah.
Because it's just, you don't join a band like this. And I feel very fortunate to be. My whole thing when I started this business, when I was before, my teens, was I wanted longevity. I wanted to do this till the day I died, and it's hard. Everyone knows it's hard to keep bands together. No one knows what the success rate's going to be of a band. When I joined Korn in 07, they had already retired from TRL, won 3 Grammys, sold
Yeah.
4 million records. I mean, it was like, now what, you know? And I remember Fieldy telling me straight up, he's like, yeah, we got another year or 2 left in us. And I'm like, hey man, I'm here. Let's make it work. Let's have fun. You know, every year that goes by, there's another list of tour dates. Here comes another record cycle. And I just love it, man. I mean, ever since Brian Head Welsh got back in the band in 2013, we're just on a whole nother level now. It's like a nonstop train, you know. Of course, COVID effed everything up, but
Yeah.
you know, other than that, we're still making music, and it's a great. Everyone's in a great headspace. You know what I mean? There's no more substance abuse. Everyone's super positive. They're just focused on writing great songs, going out and giving everybody the best show we possibly can.
Yeah, I mean that festival set, you guys. I mean, you guys have that shit down, man. It's unbelievable, and you know, it was funny. Like you know, over the years as I got more and more into Korn, I remember there was the tour you guys did with Rob Zombie, where you guys went on after Rob Zombie. And I was like, you know, like. First of all, not that you guys couldn't follow Rob, but who wants to? He's got 100 giant monsters on there, a giant boombox, you know, that he stands on top of, like a million bells and whistles. And so, I mean, I imagine that was part of like sort of how your live show grew. Is like, hey, you know what? We're ready for whatever, wherever you put us, we're ready.
Yeah, well, that's a cool thing about Korn and about this band up until this day. I love having all the bells and whistles and the giant rock show and multi-levels and pyro and all that. But I honestly can say this band, if we had 3 white of us, we could put on a show. You know, I honestly believe that. And that's a strong statement to say, but I firmly believe that if you just gave us amps and a, you know, and a PA and you know, and that's like I said, I love the big shows and all that, but it's all about the music at the end of the day. Everything else is salt and pepper and added, you know.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, you know, they've sort of gone through the drug phase and the booze phase, and
Yep.
it was funny when we saw you at Epicenter last year. You know, me and Florentine are standing there, and you're like, yeah, it's a dry tour and everything. And we're like, oh, that's cool. He goes, but if you guys want beers, there's a whole fridge over there with beers in them. And we're like, this is the worst dry tour ever.
I just remembered that. That's right. I just want to picture me and you two randomly on my phone. Like me, you're like in front of like 80,000 people going.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we do have for guests. We have a fridge for beer, and I have a couple bottles of red wine on my rider, but I'm one of those weirdos that's never done a drug in my life. You know, I've been in this business, as you know, David Lee Roth for 8 years, and everything under the sun is offered to you in you know, several bands that I've been in. But I just always saw what it did for people's careers. I saw what it did for their marriages and their bank accounts. Everything just started tanking. And I'm like, why would I ever want to do that? I don't need all that crap, you know. I've always been a mellow guy in that world, you know. You give me 2 bottles of good red wine, I'm good.
Yeah, well, that's the funny thing, man. It's like it loses its mystique when it's just offered to you all the time. So, you know, I get that, man, totally. And I think that's when I met you originally, man. Was probably late '90s or something with Roth. So, you know, I'm sort of the same way. Even though I know you pretty well, man. It's like it was funny to see you go from David Lee Roth to Korn.
Yeah, well, I had Army of Anyone in between that.
Yeah.
I was with the Leo Brothers for a minute. Was way too short-lived, in my opinion. We had a band called Army of Anyone with Richard Patrick from Filter, but just mismanaged. You know, we were guinea pigs on a label that just started out. That typical story. And I knew STP was, you know, inevitably going to get back together. But yeah, I'll tell you what, it's way different going from that. But Roth taught me a lot about the entertainment business. You know, Dave taught me, like, don't just be a drummer sitting back there with that waiting for the bus look on your face. So give the people a show. They're not here just to see me. And, you know, he said, I'm more like, Luzier, give the people a show.
Well, and speaking of which, and you were probably one of the most insane videos I've ever seen. And maybe, Bobby, if you could try to pull this up. I was going to send this to you before, but I forgot. The No Holds Barbecue, David Lee Roth, is one of the most crazy things I've ever seen, where it's an hour and 15 minutes of music, it's vaudeville, it's martial arts, it's gunplay.
It's called Rich Rockstar Having Fun with His Money. I mean, It's just, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dave, come on, let's face it. There'll never be another Diamond Dave. He's one of a kind. You know, I love the guy to death. He's very eccentric. He's an interesting guy. I'm not going to rip on anybody. You know, he's a little bit. I remember I was at his house one day when we were doing this video. We were filming it, and you know, there's playmates and there's little people.
Yeah, I mean, look at all this stuff.
It's nuts. And he goes, "Hey kid, your mama must have taught you good patience." And I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're the only one left out of the guitar player, my guitar tech, the accountant, my bodyguard. It's only you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I must be nuts."
But no, I'm like, and there's nothing. You cannot say anything bad about Dave, because I mean, the fact that he created all that stuff at his house, and you remember his assistant Matt Sensio.
Of course, that's my boy, Matt.
So Matt, and I haven't talked to Matt in years, but I remember when Dave was about to do that video, and I was talking to Matt on the phone, and he goes, "You're not gonna believe what I just did today." And I go, "What?" He goes, "Dave sent me to beaches all over Southern California to bring back sand samples that he would put his foot in, so he could figure out which kind of sand to build the beach to do that video for."
And they had truckloads, tons and tons of sand dumped on a tennis court. And I'll never forget the first morning we were there, and I was kind of the MD, of course, of the band. You know, I had to make sure, you know, Luzier, put the band in the jacuzzi and get the Dom triplets and kitty cat outfits. It was lunacy, you know, and I'm there, and I remember all these sand trucks pulling up and they're dumping the sand, and Dave gets up, he's like, let's go check it out. And he went down, and I just saw hands flying and this and that and middle fingers. And next thing you know, they're picking all the sand up and shipping it back. And they had to truck in all brand new sand. And it was, he's very particular about what he wants. So
I love that, man. That's, man. Yeah, I talk about it in my comedy act, man. I just miss the days of the real rock stars. Van Halen, Eminem's backstage, but if they found a brown one, they weren't playing the show that night, man. You just don't have that anymore.
That was true too, because it was all about the rider. Some of these people that, you know, they get bands every day, and they just kind of glance at the rider and go, okay, I got it.
Yeah, just get them some lunch meat, they'll be fine.
Totally, and that's why Van Halen would destroy dressing rooms, because, you know, they would mess up the rider, and I get it, you know.
Yeah, and but again, that when rock stars were rock stars, and you know, the other thing with Korn, man, you know, it's crazy to think that back when you joined, they thought they had a year left. The last record, The Nothing, fantastic album. You know, obviously you guys were able to go out and tour on that. You know, we're all looking forward to new stuff, as always. In the meantime, Korn does what they do, and they pick a way out in left field cover. The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah.
I love that.
You check it out. It's we did a bunch of covers. We're always recording stuff and tracking different things, and you know, it's too typical for a hard rock metal band, whatever Korn is. We're just Korn. That do like a typical, let's do another Metallica or a Slayer song, or it's like, you know, that's why when we did that cover with Slipknot on stage in London at the O2 Arena, Corey's like, you know what? Let's mess up everybody and let's do a Beastie Boys song. So Slipknot and Korn are on stage doing, you know, Sabotage, and it's on YouTube. You can check that out. But like, I love the fact that, you know, we covered that song last year, and we did such a good job. Nick Raskulinix, who produced our last two records, The Nothing and Serenity of Suffering, me and Nick are really good buds, and he made that song just shine, man. We brought in Yellow Wolf. He's a good friend of ours, you know, rapper guy. And dude, he knocked it out of the park with the arrangement. He made it very Korn sounding, you know, and that was really cool, but it just sat there. And then with Charlie passing, we thought it'd be a good honor and a tribute to him to put it out and to make all the proceeds. We didn't, you know, it wasn't about a money thing. All the money went to Awakening Youth, which is a nonprofit organization that Brian Head Welch's daughter was a part of. And we support many charities and nonprofits. So it was awesome. Just all the money. Some people donated $20. Some people gave 200. Some people gave $2. And it was a beautiful thing, you know?
Yeah, man, that's great. And when you're not doing Korn, man, you got, You know how much I love KXM, man. Doug Pinnick, Ray Luzier, and George Lynch. And when you hear those three names, you go, what is that going to sound like? And that's the beauty of it, man. It's just great, straight up rock music. Yeah, that's the last record right there. Which is so killer. Circle of Dolls, and man, I know too much behind the scenes, Ray. That's the problem. But as a fan, that band's got a tour, man. I got to go see that band play live, man, because it's so cool.
Thanks for the compliments. It's a very strange situation. I mean, in a long story short, we were at my house in Tarzana, California one day and celebrating my kid just turned 1. Invite all these rock stars. LA's land of the flakes, as everybody knows.
Yep.
Invite 55 people, 10 show up, Well, I put all these quote rock stars on my list of people to come, and, the Dean DeLeos and Billy Sheehan's and, Doug and George and all these people. Well, a bunch of my good friends blew me off and all the rock stars kind of showed up. So it was next thing you know, I'm like, wow, dang, Dean DeLeo's buying my kid a toy truck. This is the raddest day ever. And Billy and all these people. And then at the end of the night, everybody trickled out. It was me, Doug, and George in my little studio. And it was Doug's picking up my guitars and, and George is messing with this. And George would go, man, this will make a kick-ass band. And I go, yeah, that'll ever happen. No way. All of our schedules clashing. And lo and behold, George was super persistent, man, and he was getting on us all the time. Dude, okay, I have this day off. Korn doesn't play till then. Let's, it would do a song a day, write a song fresh, and then track the drums and basic tracks by the end of the day. So each of those records, we've only worked about 12 or 13 days tops. Of course, Doug would take it home and do lyrics and words and all that would take time. But for the most part, the basic tracks are done in less than 2 weeks, all those records.
Yeah, it's killer stuff, man. I mean, it's like I said, just kind of straight up rock and roll, and heavy. But you got your powerhouse drumming. You got the Lynch, who's the mad scientist on the guitar, and Doug's a poet, and the voice and the body and everything else that never ages. So if people aren't familiar with KXM, go get the stuff, man. It's great.
You got great videos too. Look it up on the YouTube channel. Type in KXM. We have a lot of fun with the videos. We do just kooky stuff and get in business. We're he was Obama in a song called Gunfight. And
yeah.
George with his security. But we just have fun with it.
Hey, the other thing I wanted you to talk about, man, just as a tremendous drummer yourself, is the Modern Drummer Fest this year, which was paying homage to Neil Peart, man. How much fun was that?
Amazing, man. I mean, I love these festivals. That's one thing I miss about this dumb virus again is I do a lot of clinics and festivals around. I just enjoy it. I used to be a teacher at Musicians Institute years ago, and I just love the whole drumming brotherhood that we have. There's no egos, attitude, bull crap. It's just, we get together and have fun. And what's great about these festivals is you get some specialists from Cuba and then some metalhead from Pittsburgh like me, and then you get Steve Smith from Journey, and then you'll get some jazz freak. And I love just the plethora of stylistic things that happens at these festivals. So obviously everyone's doing these remote shows from the studio. So I actually filmed my part right here on this kit. And we just had fun paying tribute to Neil. And I actually went to Rock Falcon Studios, Nick Raskulinix's studio, because he did Clockwork Angels and Snakes and Arrows. Neil's
I didn't know that. Yeah, cool.
Yes, his very last recording. So, man, I didn't want to make it about me. I'm not like Mr. Joe Rockstar, me. I literally went there and interviewed Nick because I said, what was it like, playing on, you tracked Neil on his life. And he pulled out a pair of sticks and showed me the song Clockwork Angels. And I had goosebumps on goosebumps, man. Dang. So, I mean, it's pretty cool. You can still watch it. It's on LiveX Live. If you go on that Instagram app, LiveX Live, you can still watch the show because obviously it was, they put it all together and you can watch it up until December.
What songs did you do?
I didn't want to do a big solo. A lot of drummers did solos and I can do solos. I've done them before. I kind of wanted to do a little bit of both of my bands. So I did a little bit of You'll Never Find Me off of Korn to Nothing. And I did a little bit of Scatterbrain off our second KXM record. And I slammed it into 3.5 minutes. So that's on there. Everyone can watch it.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Now, are you allowed to discuss at all a solo
Oh.
album that's long awaited by someone that we love so much from a very famous band, or are we not?
I can't say it yet. It's still in the DL. I don't know why. In fact, I just was at his house today. But yeah, no. But so your listeners and reviewers will know very soon who it is. You're gonna freak out because he's a giant rock icon, and he's
Yeah, he is.
so many of us, and yeah. So yeah, not yet.
Yeah, all right. I didn't give anything away there. I
Nope.
tried to do that as slyly as possible.
I appreciate that, and it's going to be people are going to be like, "What the hell?" Because this guy's never done anything solo ever in his life, so people are going to be like, "What?" So it's one of those like, it's a jaw dropper for sure. It's not like, "Oh, he's doing a thing and whatever." This is pretty dang cool, and I got to be really good buddies with the guys. It's such a sweetheart. So.
Yeah, and he's in good hands with you, man. So we will look forward to that. And even though you and I are the only ones who know what we're looking forward to, but it will all be revealed eventually. Hey, man, before I let you go, you been doing any of those quarantine videos?
Just no. I mean, I got some things I got coming up. And we're talking about doing stuff with Korn and everything. It's a weird thing because no one really knows when the end of it's going to be. They're having a ton of shows now in Europe, which is a great sign.
Yep.
And I have a good feeling this is going to turn around by next summer, and we're all going to be enjoying concerts again. I know it's too much therapy out there, man. People need that release, especially the 9-to-5ers. You need concerts. It's going to turn around, but there's some stuff in the works, but I've just been doing little drum things here and there and putting them on my Instagram page and stuff like that.
Yeah, so check out Ray on all the socials. We've been putting them up throughout the interview so people know where to find you. And I agree, man. I mean, I've been seeing a couple shows trickling in here and there. But, man, when it's festival season again, that's going to be like, like a prisoner being released from jail and getting laid for the first time. I mean, the release is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah, people don't realize how much we need these shows, and us musicians too. Like I love these festivals because I get to check out another 3 or 4 of my favorite bands on the same day that we play, and it's just you kind of take it for granted sometimes, but then when it's gone, you're like, whoa, this is whack, And all my sports buddies that play, they can't, they're playing in front of empty places right now. It's strange.
Well, hopefully sooner than later, my friend, man. I can't wait to see you back behind the kid as always. And again, for people who aren't familiar with the KXM, download their stuff, pick it up. Of course, everyone knows the Korn catalog, but if you don't have the Nothing, it's just a killer album. So pick up all that stuff. Follow Ray on the socials, and great to see you again, man.
You too, brother. Thanks again.
And best wishes to you and the family, brother.
I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Be
Bye,
good.
everyone.
All right, there he is from Nashville, Tennessee.